Once again, I want to thank the legislation for having our top cops for the month of February 2019. Nassau County Police Officers Adam Meyer, Michael Kenny, Police Officer Medics Catherine Fay, Scott DePino, and John Episcopo are being honored this month. On February 13th of 2019, at approximately 8 a.m., a 911 call was dispatched in Roslyn Heights within the confines of the Third Precinct for a construction worker at a job site. The construction worker was severely injured when a large metal plate in excess of 2,500 pounds slid off a stack and struck the worker in his knees. The force of the weight completely severed both his legs from his body and pinned the worker in a large ditch. Responding officers, police medics, and construction workers were eventually able to remove the plate that pinned the injured worker. At one point, the officers and the medics, at a risk to their own personal safety and well-being, did enter the construction ditch. Officer Meyer, who was experienced as a U.S. Army combat field medic, was carrying his own tourniquets and was able to apply them to one of the aided's severed legs to prevent the aided from bleeding to death. Officer Kenny arrived and assisted placing his tourniquet on the aided's other leg. When the bleeding was under control, the officers and police medic Fay prepped the aided for transport to the hospital. The aided was then treated and transported by EMTs Scott DePino, John Episcopo, and Kathleen Fay to Winthrop University Hospital. At the hospital, an emergency room trauma surgeon stated if the tourniquets weren't applied so quickly, the aided would, of course, die at the scene. Because of the officer's quick response to the scene, teamwork, and diligence, let's not forget the training of Officer Meyer, which he received from the United States military. This construction worker was able to live to tell the story to his family. This is why we are proud to name these officers and these police medics top cops and medics for February of 2019.
Well, thank you to the legislation for hosting us, PBA and Third Precinct. It was really a team effort. There was a lot. When we got there, every call is different. We weren't aware of the severity until we arrived, and quickly became a situation that was desperate. If it wasn't for Kenny and the extra tourniquet and Brian McQuaid helping out, and especially EMTs, once we did get him in the ambulance, it needed to be done quickly and efficiently. And if we didn't have the training and tools we needed and weren't patrolling our sectors as we need to be, then we wouldn't be here today. So I wish the men a speedy recovery, and thank you for hosting us.
So can you talk about today? What did you guys do?
Today we were honored by PBA and the legislature in Nassau County for action a couple weeks ago. As you're aware, I'm sure, that the man had been in a serious incident at work, and we showed up. We didn't know the severity of it until we got there, and it turned out his legs had been severed, and so we took action.
And upon arrival, how did it feel? Were you guys nervous? What was going through your heads?
Well, when I arrived, Adam Meyer was already on scene, and I don't think anyone realized the severity initially. We received a call as a male hit by a construction plate. I don't think anyone was expecting his legs to be severed initially. Adam was already down applying a tourniquet and rendering aid, and he was yelling for another tourniquet, so I did have mine on mine and threw mine down to him, and then found a safe place to jump down with him and help him out and help get the gentleman out of the hole.
And how does it feel today to be honored?
It's nice, but man lost his leg. So we're glad that we were close enough, and I was actually minutes away from being on the crossing, or else we wouldn't have been there. So it's good that police need the training, they need the tools, and they need to be in their zones in order to react, because we are going to be closer than most specialized units and others. So the training and the funding that we got the tourniquets for was very important. And the same thing with the military, like I said before. Many years in the Army, I was a medic, but I was combat lifesavers qualified, and that becomes second nature in the ABCs and first aid. So it was good. We wish him luck.
Do you guys have any other questions?
How dangerous was the situation when you went in there? Can you describe that?
Well, that's another thing. I'd like to point out is that the co-workers had not been talked about a lot, but they were smart enough and quick enough to put belts on as best they could. Belts, unfortunately, obviously have pre-made holes, so you can't get them as tight as you want as a tourniquet would to cut the circulation. But they were able to start that, and they were also reassuring him and trying to keep him, a little bit more calm. The man was conscious the entire time, so he was down there. They were doing that, and the first thing I said with Brian McQuaid, who was the first one on scene, we asked how is the hole safe? And we got the answer, we think so. So at that point, we knew we had about 2 to 3 minutes we needed to get him out. And if it wasn't for the medical work they did in the bus, Pino and Faye and Piscopo, man might not have made it even.
So you had him out in under 2 minutes.
Under 2 minutes from when I got down there, I would say it was at most 2.5. We got both tourniquets on, and we got a backboard down there, and we got him out.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.